What's up YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back, and today we will be doing a $500 quarter hunt. Obviously this is not a Loomis wrapped box of quarters, however we do have about $100 worth of Loomis wrapped quarters in here, all circulated. The rest are all customer wrapped, and we've got 2 or 3 different types, and some are even taped, which I always get excited about when they're taped. So really looking forward to getting into those customer wrapped. This will be part of our hunt and fill, and we'll show you the albums here just in a second. So let's jump into it. So really quickly, I did want to show you guys, if you've been following the channel, we have filled up 2 series of books from 1965 through 2021. If you want to see these books in more detail, please go back and look through my playlist of these quarters. I did a deep dive, I think, in my last video. We are still trying to fill out the American Women quarters books for both of those series. We're pretty good up through the Kanaka Oles, but both books still need some of the latest and greatest Denver quarters, so we'll be on the lookout for those. And I did have somebody in the comments of my last video say I need to get started on my 32 to 64 books, and I just wanted to show you guys. These are mainly through purchases, but I have these books started. I have a lot of holes in them, so 3, 6, 9, 10, looks like about 13 holes in the 32 to 47, and then the 48 to 64 I think is a little bit better. Looks like we're missing 2, 5, really just 5 quarters in the latest album here. So I do have a collection of these that I've been very diligent about filling in when I either purchase new quarters or happen to find them, so I do have them. Maybe we'll get lucky and find some silver here today, and we'll actually break into these books, but I'm not counting on it. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into these quarters. I'm just going to let's do a Loomis roll first here. Actually, let's do this one because we have a potential W there. I do have a document description down below that you are welcome to download and use for your own coin roll hunts or just to follow along with mine. It has all the things that I look for, and I did have a commenter recently let me know that I wasn't hunting for everything, and that is true. I think I have a pretty good hunt list, but I'm not one of those people that's going to put every single quarter under the scope. I'm not going to look for every single die chip or potential error ever made for these quarters because A, I just don't have the time, and I don't have the patience to scope $500 worth of quarters. So for me, I am mainly looking for the well-known die chips, anything that's worth a good bit of money today on the open market. Anything that's kind of worth my time to hunt for, that's what I do. I also, as you'll see, I don't always look at the front and back of every single coin. I don't scope every single coin. I know what I'm looking for, and if you're new, you're going to find you're going to use your scope a lot, but I'm able to pretty much zero in on what I'm looking for just with my, with my naked eye with the help of some glasses. And then, of course, once I do come across something interesting, we will put it under the scope. But with that, make sure you just download that document and have a look. The 2 big things we always want to find are our W quarters and our silver quarters. Those are things we are always on the lookout for, and they have probably the most value. Of course, when we can find some really big errors like cracked planchets or split planchets, those are really, really rare, and those 2 can be worth lots and lots of money. But I've only found one of those in all my history of hunting quarters. So not very hopeful today to find one of those. So not seeing anything too interesting. There's a 2009 in really bad shape. Nothing real interesting in that first roll. I will go off camera and continue to hunt these quarters. And if I do come across anything interesting, I will bring in and we will talk all about it. So it's tough to see from here, but we have gone through 20 rolls. Well, really 18. This is roll 18, 19, and 20. I've been going through 5 at a time. There hasn't been much to show you guys. I've got a couple of things. I've now got 4 or 5 that it's enough that I thought it'd be worth bringing you in. I did want to stop for a second and show you that I do have 5 Philadelphia Bicentennials, 1 Denver, no DDO on it. And I do have, I don't know what it is up there, maybe 10 of the new Eleanor Roosevelts. Unfortunately, they're all 2023 Ps, so I will be able to fill in that one book because I think only like my Series A book has this one, but I'll have one for my Series B. And I have pulled a bunch of really nice coins that may be upgrades in either my Series A or Series B book. And I'm going to show you these couple of things. I got 2 mainly to show you, and I did get misstuffed by 1 nickel. We had a 1995 nickel in a roll, which That always stinks, especially when it's customer wrapped because they know they did it. But anyway, the reason I'm bringing you in is on roll 18, we found on one of the 2021 Philadelphia crossing the Delawares. It's not in the best of shape, but we have the little die chip on the hat. And this is one we find all the time, but we're looking for one that has that great big full crown die chip, because that's still worth, I mean, I haven't looked it up lately, but last time I did it was like 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks, somewhere in there. These little smaller die chips can still be good for $2 to $5, maybe as high as $8. But typically when they're this small, more on the maybe $1, $2, $3 side. But did want to show you that. And then I did a Kanaka Ole quarter hunt over the summer, or earlier this summer, when I ended up getting like most of a whole box of them. And I have 4 of these that are more or less identical. We found a bunch of them on a previous hunt, but I did want to take a second to show you. Here in the Kanaka Ole, this is very, very common to get these die chips in the NQs part of Kanaka. So I've got 4. They look just like this. I went ahead and pulled them all, but didn't bring you in for them because it's not that sighting of an error, and they don't sell for very much. And I typically now just pitch these back because it's just not worth selling them. But if you're new to coin roll hunting and just, you're looking for something, this is a great one to have on your list. So at least if you hunt a box, you're bound to find at least a few of these. So I'm going to go ahead and get back to the hunt, and hopefully we find something a little bit more valuable and a little bit more interesting before we get to the end. We've got 10 rolls left in the bin, and we've got our last 2 from the previous 5, so what would that be? That would be rolls 39 and 40, I think, right here. And I'm bringing you in because we did find another little die chip error. It has been really, really slow going, but you can see here, we got a little pimple there on the nose. Let me put it under the scope for you here, just to get a quick look. There it is. That metal's not supposed to be there. I'll look it up in the wrap-up to see if I can find anything just like it and see what these are selling for on eBay. The coin is in pretty darn good condition, and it is a 2022 Philly, or 2023 Philly Bessie Coleman. I did already check it for the big die chip on the plane and the NQ's error and the die chip in the hand, and didn't see it, but we'll put it up on the board as a find. So we're actually on to roll 40, and we're just a little ways into the roll, and I found this Nebraska, which I show you guys all the time if you watch my quarter videos. Now, normally it's the Phillies. This is a Denver, and we've got some damage on this. It's well circulated, but typically you don't see a lot of the die chips and things on the Denver minted ones, but I wanted to show you this. On the Homestead, there is something called the leaky bucket, and it's typically where there's a huge die chip like under the bucket, under the pump, and it just looks like water has spilled out of the bucket. Now, I was looking at this one because I do just look at all of them, at least the Homesteads I do, and there is no die chip here, but I noticed what looked like water kind of spilling out of the bucket, which I thought was kind of interesting, and it made me look on sort of the overall design of this quarter, which I've got up on the computer over here, and you'll see there is no little water coming off of that bucket. It's not supposed to be there. So then it made me go get another Homestead quarter just to double check. And you'll see here, we've got a nice straight line. So I don't know if this is technically a die chip, but it sure does look like it to me. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, but I don't think that little bit of metal is supposed to be there. So we have 5 rolls to open and 2 on the board, which means we are on roll 44, and we've come across something I've already found before, but because this box has been a little light on the finds, I did want to bring you in. This one's a lot nicer condition than the last one, but we've got another one of these crossing the Delaware die chip errors. Let's grab it and put it under the scope here. There it is. It looks real similar to the last one, but you can see under the scope, this is a much cleaner, nicer coin. We'll check it. There's a known DDR down here in the wrist now. I think ATOG Original Coins found that one. He was the first one to get it attributed to him, but I don't have that either. And the other thing you usually want to look for on this quarter is a die clash, which you'll find right here in front of Washington's face, but we don't have that either, but we do have this die chip. So we are done with the hunt, and I've laid out everything that we pulled from the box, and we're going to go through it all real quick just so you know where things are going, and we are going to spend a little bit of time on what we've got here in the middle, because I've already shown you most of the other stuff that we're going to talk about. We'll start over here. I just went ahead and pulled every single Eleanor Roosevelt that I got. I had about 21 2023 Ps, and I did pull one of the nicer looking ones to stick in a book because I already had one book filled and the other one still needed one. We did have 2 Denver bicentennials and 5 Philly bicentennials. If we have any really nice ones, I'll pull those and keep them. The rest will go back to the bank. I've kind of slowed down on making those rolls. We did look at this potential leaky bucket under the scope a little bit earlier. This was the die chip on the nose. You can see it right there. And if I can find comps for any of these, I will put them up on the screen as we go through them. And basically just comparables to what I can find on eBay that have sold recently. We had 2 of the die chip crossing the Delawares, and I did look it up. Some of the full crowns are still going for $50, $60, and I did see a few that actually sold for more than that. But that's something you definitely want to be on the lookout for. And the full crown goes from the back of the hat all the way to the front of the hat. It's a huge, huge, huge die chip. I did end up pulling 2, 4, 6, 7 of the Kanaka Oles, and they all had some variation of that incused die chip, which you don't even need to put it under a scope to see it. You can see it here just under heavy magnification with the phone. Not a lot of money here, so I will probably just keep 1 or 2 of those and throw the rest back. We did end up with 2 rolls that were stuffed with nickels. I did show you one. The second one was a little bit later in the hunt. But not a big deal. We lost 20 cents on each one of those. I'm going to skip those for a second. We're going to come down here. These were all of the really nice state and national park quarters that I found. And I checked, and every single one of these will be an upgrade in either my Series 1 or Series 2 books, or my Series A or Series B books. So, and you can even see some of these are still not great, but they're better than the ones that I had filled previously, because at the end of the day, my goal was to just get the books full with the nicest coins I could find during hunts. And oftentimes they were not super great coins, but they filled the holes. So now we're kind of on that quest to just upgrade anything we can. I'm not going to show you punching all these down because it's sort of a split between the Series 1 and Series 2, and it'll be a little bit awkward because the books are big and heavy. And many of them are like 4 panels, so it's tough to spread out. But what I did want to spend some time on is out of the 21, 22, 23 Eleanor Roosevelts, I found some cool stuff when inspecting these under the scope. I did go on eBay and did find that many of these have some sold listings. None of them are super duper expensive. I did find one. I'll try to explain it under the scope. I don't have it here, but I can kind of tell you what it looked like on eBay. But all of these are pretty different, except for these 3. They're very, very similar. So we're just going to start at the beginning and work our way to the end here. But we've got, 7 of these to look at. So, and it's going to take me a second to find all of them because I don't really remember what order I put them in. Okay, this is the first one. So we have a little bit of a die chip here. And we also have a die crack that's going from the edge of the coin all the way down through the hat, all the way through here. You can see it very plain as day, and even down here a little bit. That is not like just hair on the coin or like some sort of drawing. If I put some shadow over it, you can see that crack is actually in the coin. So that is like I'm going to guess that's a die crack or maybe a die chip with a die crack. Not sure I saw that one on eBay, but if I can find it, I'll put a comp up. So moving over here to coin number 2. And the ones we have multiples of, I won't show you all of them just for the sake of time. But trust me, I did find them all. So this is one I know I didn't see on eBay, and it is very, very minor. But it's a little die chip. It almost looks like a little mole here above the eyebrow on our good friend Eleanor there. And I did, I played with it under a loop and under the scope, and it's not post-mint damage. It's not a chunk taken out of the coin. It's actually just a little bit of raised metal. I don't think it was this one. So we're going to come over here to these guys now. All 3 of these were the same, and I actually may look at all of them because one of them was a little bit different. Very, very minor, but I found a die chip down here on the V of all 3 of those coins, and I believe one of these, it might not be though. Let me check real quick. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Oh, no, sorry, this is the second one with the little die chip on the eyebrow. I had it in the wrong slot there, so sorry about that. I've already gotten them out of order. All right, here's another one with the die chip. Hopefully it's not one I've already shown you. there is another one with a die chip. And one of these, the reason I'm looking over here is there's like a small in-cues error in the lettering, and I just can't remember which one it is. So we are going through all of them very, very quickly. There is yet another one with the die chip, and it might be this one. There it is. You can see we've got a little doubling. It's an in-cues error. It's not a double die reverse because this lettering is in-cues. But it's very, very minor. Again, I'm not sure worth a lot of money, but or really much more than maybe 50 cents or $1, if that. But you can see we clearly have a little bit of doubling there in the in-cues. And it's on more than just those letters, but that's where it's really, really obvious. Anyway, so I did find that one. And the last one is right here. And this one I did find on eBay. We've got a great big old die chip right here. And to compare that to one of the other ones, just so you can see that metal is missing, right? That big hunk of metal right there. So, you know, all in all, we found, I think, five different kind of varieties here. 5 different errors on this coin out of about 22 coins, which means, like I said, it's going to be really easy to find these things, or I got exceptionally, exceptionally lucky. So with that, we have reached the end of our coin roll hunt. For a box that I say a box, but for $500 worth of quarters that I wasn't real excited about, this was kind of cool here to find as I was going through those at the very end. I am glad I found whatever this is, 3, 6, 9. Looks like 9 upgrades and 2 book fillers, which I'm excited about. I don't think I mentioned this one, but I did need this Denver Bessie Coleman as well. So much more exciting towards the end than I thought. Normally I find a lot more little die chips and errors along the way throughout a box of quarters, or at least one W or something like that. And this was just really, really short on those finds. I mean, if you look at these, I really had 1, 2, 3, 4 different things that I found throughout the rest of the box. The rest were all duplicates. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know I enjoyed making it, and you may notice that the video looks a little different, maybe some different transitions and things like that. I did a post. I'm trying out a new video package that's free online called DaVinci Resolve, and I'm just playing around with it. So you may see me do some funky things, and if you hate it, let me know in the comments down below so I don't get too nuts with it. So with that said, if you do like this video, make sure you drop on down below, click that like button, and leave me a comment while you're down there. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you do go back and watch my quarter hunts from the beginning, because I've filled out 2 sets of books over about the last year or so, and you can watch me fill both of those from beginning to end if you like. And make sure you click on that subscribe button and then click on that little bell and select all so you get notified each and every time I do release a new video. With that said, special shout out to my channel members. Thank you guys for donating to the channel a little bit every month. Every little bit helps. Really appreciate it. And even at the lowest membership level, you get most of my videos anywhere from a few hours to a day or 2 early. And the last thing I'll mention is this Sunday, September 17th, we do have our 8,000 subscriber